Welcome to the Main Event Podcast. Jason Carter along with Steve McCullum.
Hello.
Back again, episode number 63. Steven?
Not too shabby for two guys that woke up one day and decided to do this.
Well, it wasn't in the morning when we decided. It was at night. We were actually bored. It was raining in Phoenix. This is what happens when it rains in Phoenix. Stuff like this happens. And then also, other stuff that happens when you play preseason games, you get hurt. And we saw that this past week. Cam Newton, down a man.
Yeah, I guess they came out to high, or just an ankle sprain. It's not a high ankle sprain, but that's not, I saw the hit. But, I mean, he's running around like a, rookie out there. And preseason, man, you got to take it easy.
I should have looked this up beforehand. But remember back when Cam Newton was like an indestructible guy, and then he got into this car wreck, and ever since he got in his car wreck, he's been hurt. I wonder if that has something to do with it, because you get those players who become injury prone, and we see time and time again these guys who come in, play 16 games, play their first 30-something games, something happens where they get hurt, and then they just constantly get hurt and hurt. Like, your body wears down. You're not getting any younger. So I wonder if, there could be something going on there.
He's in a car wreck several times every Sunday, Jason.
Well, you know what I mean. I think he was in this car, 2015, and then since then it's just been all downhill for Cam Newton. Every year it's something new.
Well, I mean, you saw it with Steve Young, back in the day, he was indestructible, and then he gets a hard hit, concussion, and then he injury prone after that. So yeah, there's no doubt your body takes a beating, especially in these positions, and he doesn't tone it down. He looks for the contact, and that's not good at that, but he is going to ruin, if he's not able to play and he's not healthy, Carolina's season's done.
Yeah, and could be good news, though, for the Arizona Cardinals fans out there, because, was it week 3 we got him? 3 for Dale, and could be a third win in a row for the Cardinals.
Yeah, they open up against the Rams, so they have a tough beginning schedule, and if Cam Newton's not 100% against the Rams on that first week, yeah, good luck.
Good luck. Speaking of being 100%, we saw this past weekend another debacle with the NFL going to play a game in another country. Of course, last year it was the LA Rams that you mentioned. We're getting ready to host the Chiefs for a Monday Night Football game in Mexico, but a Shakira concert ended that pretty quick, as the field was full of holes and everything from the pallets and stuff that they put down the field to protect the field. And then this past weekend, the Raiders actually went to go play the Green Bay Packers up in Canada at a CFL stadium. So football stadium regulation, but CFL rules are a little different. The goalposts are right up the front of the end zone, and they actually use the two fork goalposts, the one that looks like an H, I guess you can say. H goalpost, is that the correct name for it?
Yeah, but more importantly, their field is longer too.
Yeah, just a smidge.
Yeah, well, 20 yards longer, I guess, total.
Yeah, with the extra stuff. But this time I actually played on a shorter field, has the holes in the end zone from where the goalposts were, created holes, and teams just couldn't quite figure it out. And yeah, Packers end up sitting all their 33 starters, their 33 players, all the starters, which of course week 3 is usually dress rehearsal week. So we'll see how that works out for them and what they decide to do in their final preseason game. But to me, man, this is just another debacle. Like, NFL just needs to quit trying to make the NFL a global sport. Just stay in America. First off, for that, I mean, stay here. We have fields here that you can play at. Go play at like a college field if you want to go expand the game. Somewhere they don't have a football team, go play like Montana or something like that. Somewhere cool. All they guys a college team up there. Oklahoma, all they have is a college team. Alabama, go play there if you want to do this stuff. These fans might show up. I think they only have 21,000 people there. They have their own thing. They're not clamoring for the NFL in Canada. They have the CFL. It's like we're asking the CFL to come down to America, are we? No, we're not. And on top of that, it was a Raiders preseason game, which was a home game for them. They're losing their team, so this is a slap in the face to the Oakland.
Wow, that was quite the rant. No, I would agree with you. Like, this is the time. I would actually argue opposite of you and say, stop making me buy $100-something tickets to go to a preseason game, because then when you give them away or whatever, you just please take them. So I'm fine. Yeah, do them elsewhere. My problem is that NFL's a $1 billion industry, and this is the second time where they just look stupid, because the way they found out the field was unplayable was the coaches and the players walked out on it and was like, hey, there's a giant hole in the middle of the field. That cannot happen at any stretch or any imagination. That needs to be checked out long before, needs to be done before. So I don't have a problem with them going to these places. My bigger problem is that it's not ready when they get there, and it's just embarrassing. It's a black eye in the NFL. My one thing I did like out of it, besides it being a shortened field, and it was weird watching a guy catch a touchdown at the 6-yard line or whatever it was.
Yeah, crazy, weird fade route, and even after he was like, I wasn't sure if I scored or not. I had to make sure.
But they got to test the no kickoff thing because the NFL is going that way. So there's that side too. But my favorite was the end. John Gruden's like, I don't know. We had no problem with the field. We played our guys. Why don't you go talk to Green Bay and ask them what their problem was with the field? And that was the best line of the night.
I honestly feel like everything that surrounds Oakland, the Antonio Brown stuff, which has been drawn out, we've seen.
Brown.
And what did I say, Brian? Yeah, Antonio Brown. You know what I meant. That's been drawn out. And now this, of course, the Raiders are a centerpiece once again. And what's following the Raiders around? The Hard Knocks cameras, Steven. And I honestly feel like everything going the Raiders this preseason has to do with Hard Knocks. Because like we've said, and we've talked about it as we get to our Hard Knocks review of episode 3, it was this past week, where in recent years we've seen more of the GMs. This year we finally saw Mike Mayock, and he did his all in or all out comment when referring to Antonio Brown. So I think they have to add this other stuff for fluff. I think this is all a precursor by the league.
So you're saying the NFL wants to look stupid because of Hard Knocks?
They want the ratings on Hard Knocks, man.
No, I mean, it's just a debacle. It's just a debacle by the NFL. They don't have it set up properly. They do these things for international play, which I would actually agree with. Stop the regular season London games. Send a preseason team to London, type of a deal. Like, I agree with that 1,000%. But no, I mean, that's the NFL is going to look stupid this week, I think, because I didn't even watch that game, but all over Twitter, all over Facebook, all over everything was just everybody ripping the NFL for this field and the issues and all that stuff. So it has nothing to do with Hard Knocks.
We went from the greatness of seeing Aaron Rodgers rocking his Canadian tuxedo and the killer porn stash that he has to holes in the football field, 80-yard field, no kickoffs. It was just weird. And it definitely has a black eye on the NFL. But I'm interested to watch Hard Knocks next week.
No, there's no doubt, because I want to see it, because John Gruden's comment afterwards was just brilliant. So I want to see if that's actually true before the game, what they were talking about. But I'm leaning on the side of that Green Bay has issues. And this was just an excuse for them not to play their people.
I'm not really feeling Green Bay this year. I know we're going to do our review here in, I believe, 2 weeks or so when we get our full NFL preview, not review, full preview. So, yeah, I think Green Bay definitely has some issues on that side with Rodgers, the coaches, and everything like that. It's weird that they decided to sit everybody with the Raiders like, nah, we're playing everybody. Whatever. You guys can go. Like, the field still worked.
Yeah, I mean, there's a hole in the end zone. They shorten the field, so why can't Aaron Rodgers go out there and run 7 plays in the middle of the field? That was perfectly fine. It makes zero sense. It's just drama. Oakland Raiders have a lot of drama going on. It's just drama by the Green Bay Packers right now, and it's something weird is going on in Green Bay, and I don't know what it is, but there's just something weird going on right now. That's all I can say.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch next week on Hard Knocks as we look back at this past weekend, Steven, of Hard Knocks. Pretty weird episode, I would go with. Actually saw him come here to Arizona, saw what hotel the teams are staying at, so let's go there and get our autographs. Matt Stafford, here we come. No, they played the game. Derek Carr looked good. John Gruden, of course, led in. We had the Frank Caliendo come in. That's pretty funny to see him and John Gruden, good friends. He does all the impressions of everyone. Did a good John Madden impression on all the guys. I liked how we kind of saw behind the scenes with John Abram this week and trying to get that Madden rating up, man.
You would like that part. It was just so funny. He didn't even know his rating. He's talking about his speed, and the rating guy was like, "Dude, you're a 91 on speed." He's like, "Oh, I am." He didn't even know, and he's like, arguing. But then my favorite part about that was they went to was that a tight end. And they're like, here's your ratings. How do you feel or whatever? And the guy was out of the league last year. He's had some drug stuff. That's the guy to root for, by the way. And he's like, yeah, that's probably right. I haven't played in a year. Like, everybody else is complaining about their ratings. And he's like, yeah, that's probably right.
Yeah, they were asking around saying, hey, so what players should we watch out for this year? Because the Madden rating guys, it's crazy like how they now have a team that does that stuff. They go out and they say, hey, you know what? This guy had an issue with his rating in Madden. Like players like have issues with this. That's the great part about this. Like Madden is this global phenomenon, not only, you know, for us who can't play sports in real life, but the actual players that actually go out and play, they love Madden, they play it, and they care about the rating. So it's actually pretty cool to see. And like you said, yeah, they went up to they were asking around, hey man, what do you think about some of these players here? Who do you like, you know, to be an underdog? Because these guys, they update the Madden stats and rankings all year long. So once, you know, the preseason's over with, they're going to update the online rosters weekly to match what the roster is on the field. They're going to update the ratings, the rankings, and as the season goes, it will all progress. So I think that's a pretty cool in-depth look. But other than that, this episode was really just about Antonio Brown and what he was kind of going through. I believe after week one, we both said, oh, you know, Antonio Brown, not so much of a prima donna that we thought. After episode 2, you were like, yeah, maybe he is a little bit of a girl. And then after this one, I'm like, I really don't know what to think, you know, like, because Gruden has his back. And he's like, you know what, the guy, he cares about this. And I like that he cares about this. You know, he's got to stick to his guns. I like that on the helmet issue. So it's really one of those weird things. And you see his feet, he's out there like cutting routes and doing stuff with his feet, which he really shouldn't be doing. He's like, man, this hurts. And they're still saying, hey, man, you take a chill pill on the feet. He's like, nah, man, I got to go.
Well, at one point, he's like, man, my feet just get so hot. I have to take my shoes off. And then Gruden made a adult response to him on that. But no, so we have some Raider friends. And I was following them on Facebook. And, man, they're like, see, all the chatter about the Raiders, just people trying to be drama or whatever. I feel like HBO cut that to make him look less of a drama king. But I told you that before, where a lot of the helmet stuff was around his, like he was going to be gone because of his feet anyway. And so people were just like, oh, he's being a drum, but he was going to be gone because of his feet anyway, getting his feet taken care of on that type of thing. But I think they cut that to where he looked less of a drama queen than possibly what's going on. But there's no doubt Mike Mayock, the GM, is the bad guy, and John Gruden's the good guy in this relationship. And so Mayock's going to be the guy sending the jabs, like, you're either in or you're out, you know, it's your choice. And then Gruden's going to be like, man, I love you, dude. Like, get out there and do whatever. But, I mean, he dressed for the Cardinals game and warmed up, and, of course, he didn't play or anything. But from what I was reading, his feet, I mean, they're as good as they're going to get. And there's nothing wrong with them. It's just a matter if they hold up in terms of blisters and things like that. So he'll get through a whole game, and then it's just after that how much he can put up with the pain or whatever after that. So
yeah, I think it's just a skin thing and how the skin grows back and everything and what it's going to look like. So that was pretty interesting, I thought, from that episode. Also, like you said, John Gruden, I mean, Gruden loves Brown because Gruden, he loves winners. That's all he cares about. He wants to see guys go out on the football field and win. That's all he cares about is getting the wins. And you can tell this isn't Mike Mayock's team. This is John Gruden's team. That was pretty much set last year when John Gruden signed the contract and they traded Khalil Mack. Hey, this is your team, Gruden. Go out there and do it. It's your team. And, you know, especially with Hard Knocks, this is the first time we actually saw Mayock appear on the series. I was beginning to wonder who the GM actually was up until this past week. I was like, man, where's our GM? You never see him here, nor you see that goofy-haired looking owner earlier on this season of Hard Knocks.
The interesting thing was they're still not talking about Vontaze Burfict at all. But if you watched the broadcast here in Phoenix last week when the Cardinals played the Raiders, they focused on him a lot because, of course, he went to Arizona State and things like that. So, yeah, I mean, Hard Knocks has been. I love John Gruden. Like I've loved him before, and I love him even more now. No doubt about it. He's got the ability to talk to players. I mean, you saw it where, you know, he can baby the players that need to be babied, and he can also be tough on the guys that need to be tough on. You know, he's babying Antonio Brown now and everything. So the question is going to come is when Antonio Brown gets out there and drops an easy pass or runs a wrong route or whatever, how hard is he going to be on him? But, of course, that's going to happen in the regular season. We're not going to see that.
Yeah, and you saw that, I think, with the first and second string quarterbacks there, as Derek Carr went in there, had a flawless opening drive for the Raiders against the Cardinals. Came out, I was like, all right, man, look good, you're done. He's like, all right, cool, thanks, coach. And he's like, yeah, it looks a lot better. Second year in the offense, like, oh yeah, I thought it would. And then Glennon missed a couple guys wide open. He's like, what the fuck, Glennon? Like, what are you doing out there? So yeah, it was one of those things where Glennon definitely he doesn't get no favoritism, I would guess, in the baby category.
No, absolutely not. And but he knows he can talk to him the way. But he also, if you noticed, Peterman isn't perfect out there, but he kind of babies Peterman a little bit more, because he's rooting for him, he likes him. And everything, but he'll mess up and he'll be like, hey, so what'd you see there? What do we need to work on? This is what you need to pay attention to. Or what was it? Peterman didn't look deep. Some guy was wide open on a deep route and Peterman didn't even look at him. She's like, did you not see the guy running down the sideline? He's like, oh, I got to start looking at that. He's like, yeah, you do. We got some talent right here on the sideline and one that's going to get ready to come out and play in 84. That you got to look at those streak routes because they're going to be open all game. So it's funny how like Glennon, he's tough on. David Carr is not really tough on, and they just kind of I think that's one of the relationship where David Carr's being nice to him because he knows he's not his favorite quarterback. So David Carr's like, I got to be nice to him to keep my job, kind of a deal.
But he knows he's the starter, and he's kind of like the brother. It's like, I hate my brother right now. Irritated with him, but then at the end of the day, like, yeah, who else are you going to count on? He's your brother, so you got to call him to belly out of some situations. But interested to see where they go with. Episode number 4. Really interested to see how they play this whole CFL field, Canadian field debacle, I think, next week's episode, which I feel like we were like looking forward to that with Antonio Brown last week, and we didn't really get it. We just kind of got Antonio Brown driving his really expensive car in and out of the place. And then, of course, his agent. That's always nice to see Drew Rosenhaus appear. And he even said, though, which, he ate some crow, I felt like. He said, hey, we probably handled that totally wrong. We get that, but we're all in.
Yeah, anytime your agent has to go out to defend you, you handled it completely wrong. And especially when it's because Rosenau went out there and things he was saying were completely wrong, And I get it, right? And you don't like your helmet, but at some point you have to be ready to go out there and stop complaining about it because it does become a distraction. And I'm seeing people say the Raiders are going to win 7 or 8 games this year, and I don't see it. We'll have our predictions like in another week and a half here or whatnot. But the people are high on these Raiders, and they don't need these distractions with all the other stuff going on over a stupid helmet. I mean, they have a lot of talent on that team that they have to somehow figure out how to put together. Either their tight end battle is huge right now. Like there's a couple of good tight ends that are probably going to get cut from that team. And just when you focus on a helmet, it's just annoying. It's kind of like the Cowboys dealing with Ezekiel Elliott bullcrap. It's just annoying, and it's not playing well. It's not looking good for anybody. It's got to be a huge distraction. Even if he shows up for week 1, it's just a joke at that point.
Well, if you look back at the past, 2001, people were high on the Ravens. 2002, people were high on the Cowboys. 07, high on the Chiefs. 08, high on the Cowboys again. 09, high on the Bengals. Last year, high on the Browns. You know why? Because they're on Hard Knocks, Steve. That's why people get high on these players like that. But no, thanks for the Cowboys job there. Yeah, waiting to see what happens with Zeke. Stephen Jones says he'll play week 1. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. But Steve, trying to find his update, or do you have it already locked and loaded?
Yeah, so, I mean, Stephen Jones came out, yesterday or the day before?
Yesterday.
And said he thinks a deal is imminent. And he came out today and said, we're nowhere close. But we still expect him to be here for week 1. So basically, Jason, what I'm trying to say on this, and I've been trying to tell you, is Cowboys have no freaking clue what's in Zeke's head, and they have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah, yesterday I actually listened to the interview that 105.3 The Fan in Dallas did with Stephen Jones, and he didn't say imminent. He said, we're getting closer. He said on the deal, he's like, I feel like it's getting closer. Obviously, if it happens, it happens. And it's one of those things where it doesn't take a long time to happen. He says once the phone calls start getting made, we know we only have a few hours and it'll be done. It'll happen. So he didn't really say like a deal is coming up tomorrow and that we're close. But, he made it sound like, hey, I have no what's the word I'm looking for here? He has no worries about Ezekiel not being there week 1 of the season.
What that means, Jason, is that they're nowhere close. And Stephen Jones is saying, look, we got offers out there. We're ready to go on this. We're just waiting to hear back from him. It's his choice to be here week 1. So when he's not there in week 1, guess who's going to get the blame?
Well, you know what? here's the thing about Ezekiel Elliott and Stephen Jones. They don't have to sign him. He has 2 years left on his contract. So if he holds out this year, guess what? Ezekiel Elliott, hold out next year too. Then go on the free market, 2 years not having played football.
No, it's worse than that. If he sits out this year, well, he doesn't accrue time, so he has to come back at some point. So let's say he comes back, whatever week it is, 15 or whatever, or 14, so he gets credit for this year, so he comes back. Then they can franchise him next year, and then he has a decision to make to play or not. Same situation. Then they can franchise him the next year. They have 3 more years of control if he plays it wrong on that. They can royally screw him up on that. Now, I don't think they're going to do that. I mean, they offered him, all reports are, second money, and he's coming out saying that he wants Todd Gurley money. God, I hope the Cowboys sign him for bigger than Todd Gurley, because there goes your salary cap, and there goes, and then to add insult to injury, who they signed this week? Jalen Smith.
Hey, Jalen Smith said, I want to be a Dallas Cowboy. Here's the deal. Let's get this deal done. 5 years, $65 million. Boom. Knock it out. Thank you, Jalen Smith.
He took a pay cut, too. He took a Cowboys home team discount on that. But that's just got to irk a guy like Zeke, Dude, I mean, the guy is in Cabo. Like, he's nowhere near the team. He's not even in the States. He's just, I'm going to go run and hide in Cabo. And it just shows his maturity level and all of that stuff. Like, don't be with the team, hold out, fine. Like, I would actually argue missing preseason is probably good for him because he won't take the hits or whatever. But at least be in the States, be close to the team. They're in California. You mean to tell me you can't find a nice beach in California to hang out on? You got to go to Cabo. Then he flies back to the States for negotiations. Then he doesn't get what he wants, or he flies back to Cabo again. Who's he got training him now down there?
Marshall Faulk, baby.
Come on. That tells me he's fat. You see all these reports about how in shape. That's his people saying how in shape he is and everything. He's down there drinking margaritas. He may be in shape, but he ain't in football shape. Even if he comes back week 1, he's going to be completely worthless. It's going to be stupid. And quite frankly, Dak needs him back there to help him out. Like any good quarterback needs a good running back there. And it's just a distraction. Cowboys are going to be awful this year. Just mark my words.
Well, I don't think he's down there drinking margaritas and banging senoritas. So, I mean, I did hear Marshall Faulk say that he was going to make Zeke throw up this weekend. So I don't know if that was a reference to I'm going to work you out so hard, or if I'm going to make you gag on my. But maybe he's getting him drunk. I don't know. So we'll see. But he's been talking to the team. I heard also in the interview, Stephen Jones said, he's been texting some players, so we got updates. Looking good. So he's got the Snapchat. Hey guys, here's the body, still rocking and rolling. So I think he went to Cabo when he got suspended. He came back pretty good shape. He wasn't fat after the suspension. He was not fat.
He came back overweight. Dude.
No, that was the offseason. It wasn't the suspension. The suspension, he looked pretty decent. But for one Dallas team to another, the Dallas Renegades, along with 7 other teams, unveiled their 2020 XFL logos. Steven, what do you think about the 2020 XFL logos?
Okay, Vince McMahon is a genius when it comes to marketing. Those were the best. Every team got their own hype video, and I sat there and watched all 7 of them, or 8 of them, all 8 of them, and was intrigued by all of them. And I was like, this is the most amazing thing ever that has been done. Some of the names need help, like the Houston Wildcats. We don't have enough Wildcats in the world.
It's the Houston Roughnecks. They actually have a good name. The LA Wildcats.
Oh, LA. Sorry, LA. Sorry. Wrong. Whatever. They're both god-awful names now that we bring it up. The hype videos were absolutely, even the logos, even if you don't like them or anything like that. I mean, the Houston Roughnecks goes back to the Oilers days with the oil derrick thingy.
That is my favorite logo, I have to say. I think looking at it, the Houston Roughnecks logo with the H and the oil derrick, as you call it, oil rig deal there, it's a pretty solid logo. I think it's probably the top out of all of them.
I don't know, man. The Dallas Renegades is pretty sweet with the red eyes with the guy covered up. But you can't go wrong with the Seattle Dragons. And even the Vipers, man. Like, it's like, it's a V, but it's eyeball. It's pretty spectacular. Now the DC Defenders, the St. Louis Battlehawks, it's all right logo. The Guardians is kind of weak. But no, I mean, but even those hype videos were just spectacular. Like, I was ready to go.
Yeah, especially had the one guy's voice like, Dallas, this is what football is all about. Excuse me. Excuse me on that sneeze. Yeah, the video's like, Dallas, this is what football's all about. And you got to be a renegade to get in this. And they like do the Houston one. You see all the guys working on the oil rig and everything like that. I thought that was pretty cool. So my least favorite, I think, names and logos. I'm not a big fan of the Vipers or the Dragons. I just think the Dragons sounds a little silly. Along with the Battlehawks, that's too long of a name for a team. Especially because it's St. Louis Battlehawks. You initially have 4 names there. And then the LA Wildcats logo. Does every LA team have to have LA in their effing logo? So when they go play somewhere else, they can just say, beat LA. Is that going to be the chant going on in the XFL this year?
No, I mean, there's no doubt. The Wildcats one is a joke. The DC Defenders one was half-assed. The St. Louis Battlehawks, I mean, you're absolutely right on that name. It's going to be shortened to Hawks, which how many Hawks do we have in the world right there? But yeah, I don't understand the whole Guardians thing. It's just weird. Is that a tiger? Is that a puma? Like what is that thing? So I mean, they definitely don't. But just in terms of the graphics, I mean, Seattle Dragons looks like an old '80s video game logo, like video games I used to play in the '80s. That dragon looked like a poor rendering of that. But I actually don't mind the Vipers and the Dragons names just because for football, I think that's pretty spectacular, man.
The one thing when I look at these logos and also the team names, which is really weird, none of the names like stereotype the region outside of, I believe, the Texas teams. Like the Roughnecks one, that's, the guys that work on the oil rigs, and then the Renegades, that's actually the logo that they use is close to the Dallas Desperados AFL team that Jerry Jones once owned. Other than that, I mean, LA Wildcat, like there's enough Wildcats going around. I mean, that's kind of all over the place. The DC Defenders, maybe could have gone with like a Secret Service logo. I don't know. I'm no marketing genius. The Guardians, not too sure about that name. Battlehawks, yeah. And then Dragons and Vipers. So it's funny. But hopefully they don't make it too corny like they did a few well, not a few years ago, but 18 years ago.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, some of the names are lacking, but just as an overall, like I said, the hype videos for marketing side. I mean, I'm not fond of a lot of the NFL. I'm not Tennessee Titans. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of that. Even their logo, I'm not a big fan of that at all. Type of deal. Even the Chargers, with the lightning bolt and just that name, it's stuff like so. You don't always like it. It's new, but like I said, just in terms of marketing, man, those hype videos were better. Like you get the chills when you see the NFL and it's on a cold winter day and the team's running out. You get chills on that. These were far more superior than anything I've seen on those NFL ones. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, they were definitely pretty good. So going ahead for XFL 2020, who's your team? Which shirt you buying?
Yeah, I don't buy shirts, so.
If you were to buy a shirt for a team right now, who would you buy?
Just going off the logos? Oh, my God, none. Actually, if it doesn't say Dallas Renegades on it, I'll take that logo on a shirt any day of the week. The mask guy with red eyes, that's pretty badass.
And I should be a Dallas fan, but I really like the Roughnecks logo, so I might get one of those. Maybe the hat.
The thing I like about the Roughnecks, like I said, it harkens back to the Houston Oilers back in the day, which I think is an ingenious move to do right there. My problem is, like, I like the Dragons of the Seattle Dragons, but I just can't root for a Seattle team. It's built in it.
And you're a grown-ass man wearing a dragon. That wouldn't look right.
It worked for Will, what's his name in that one movie? It was Show me be a dragon.
Moving on off of that one there, Puff the Magic Dragon.
Starsky and Hutch, the movie. Will Ferrell likes dragons and he's in prison and he makes Starsky and Hutch, who's Ben Stiller and Luke. No, not Luke. The other Owen. And he makes so many dragons and it's disturbing.
To die for, something to watch. Speaking of something to watch, all caught up on Big Brother, as we just had an eviction. We usually get you pre-eviction, but a little bit off this week. I had to go take care of some things, but got you post-eviction where we saw a swerve thrown and Sis went home.
Yeah, I was going to interrupt you there and say, don't say it, because somebody tweeted out that he couldn't wait for somebody to go home at night. And I almost responded to that and ruined your day, because I was watching the live feed and I saw what was happening and I was like, holy, Sis is going home.
Yeah, somebody did ruin my day and they said, don't count on it. And I said, they must have been watching the live feed. So yeah, I caught up on it last night, and after watching the episode and everything, Christy made some valid points. Like I felt like you had to keep her. I was kind of surprised Mick was cool with that, because I feel like Mick is the kind of personality like myself. Like if you have a plan, stick to the plan. I want her out, and I felt like that was kind of Mickey's personality. And he was cringing. I mean, good thing he didn't have a vote.
The thing about Mickey that I picked up on doing the live feeds this week, and they didn't do a good job of cutting it in, is Mickey knows he's alone in that house. And Holly knows that they're alone in that house. And Mickey was like, my plan's coming in. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And what Mickey doesn't know is the rest of the house is pretty much like, fuck you. Excuse my language. You're our guy. You're our next guy out of here. So Mickey was sitting there bragging about how, like, my plan's in motion. I'm just going to let it go. It's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. And then you watch the rest of the stuff and everybody else is like, we're going to vote for Sis. Because the thing that was interesting though was how they all turned on Nick, and Nick's not doing a good job of putting the blame. Like, Mickey's driving this, the whole force and everything, by what he's doing, and Nick's not doing it. Nick got mad instead of being like, no, this is what's going on, blah, blah. And that's what kind of turned it. But one thing they didn't show on Thursday in the live feed was, I keep calling her Kat. Who's the girl that was on the other one on the block?
Annalise or Christy?
Christy. So Christy was literally putting out there, like, if you get rid of me, you're giving Mickey more power back and everything, because I think she is caught on that Cliff's playing everywhere that he needs to, and she knows where the votes are. So I think that's kind of what played it on that. And that's one reason why Sis went, was because Sis was giving Nick more power if she stayed. And I think that's why the house kind of ultimately turned against Sis, was because everybody kind of came to the realization that Nick's the player in this house, and that they don't want to give him more power by keeping Sis around. And even Sis in the interview afterwards was like, yeah, I would totally be with Nick if I stayed in that house, so.
Well, I don't think it was so much as a Sis was losing the votes. I think everybody else was like, we're not targets yet. Why would we vote Christy out and make one of us a target? Because Christy and Nick blowing up. Mickey was right. When Christy went in there and said, hey, I'm going to blow up his game, Mickey's like, yeah, you should probably go for it. Yeah, do that. And then Nick came in there to Mickey. Oh, man, she's getting on my nerves. Like, yeah, man, you should do that. And you heard him talk about it in the room there. He's like, yeah, this girl wants to attack this guy, make a big deal here on Taco Tuesday. He wants to go right back at her. Let him have at it, and I'll just sit back and watch.
The issue is that the thing that you're forgetting is that Christy has an alliance with a lot of those other people still, not on Mickey's side. So I thought originally when they were both put up, I knew Sis was in trouble because Mickey doesn't know about everybody else getting along and going against them. So I had a feeling Sis was in trouble this week because people just wouldn't vote for her just because Mickey wanted it for that reason. But then too, they all get along on the other side, and there was enough votes just there to keep, to get rid of Sis on there. And now it was just convincing it was in their best interest to do it. And, and then Holly wins the HOH for this week, which is supposedly going to keep, but they could still backdoor Mickey. But Mickey and Holly's time is coming up. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen, because they're losing people every week with their choices. And they stopped playing the game to stay the long time. They're playing the game for those two, and it's way too early to play for those two and they don't know it, but they don't. You have the whole other side of the house that's kind of conspiring against them.
I don't know. I kind of like the game that Mickey and Holly are playing right now. Not so much Holly, but I do like the game Mickey's playing now. I thought when everything happened last week, I was like, they were for sure going to get Christy out. Even Tommy said, it's probably time that, I let go. It sucks, but you got to go with what they want, because if you don't, they're going to be like, oh, who did that vote? Everybody knows that Nick voted Christy out, so it's not going to be much of an issue, I think, this week with the noms, because everybody knows. Obviously, Holly is the HOH. Will she put up Christy? I know she kind of had mixed feelings about that last week. Will she put up Nick, who Christy wanted to go after? Or will she put them both up? Well, actually, no, she can't put them both up because we have the prankster now. And, man, the prank thing, I hope Nicole gets it. I don't know why. I was just like, Nicole hasn't won anything. Why is she in this house? She's the ultimate floater in this house.
She's the Casey.
She has done nothing. Well, no, at least Casey's going to, Casey won some competitions at the end. Nicole's not going to win anything. She's not a beast. She really doesn't have a social game. She hates talking to people. She's scared of birds. It's a weird situation. But somehow she's still in that house, and she's doing her thing. I hope America votes her to be the prankster, and everyone's like, oh my God, who did that? And then just shit gets weird.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely going to throw a wrinkle in the whole deal. But I mean, there's so many interesting ways that this year has been played so badly by so many people that now we're to the point where, you know, people are just against each other and it's vocal and the people are going to go against each other. But I think the side that was kind of, I mean, Jess is the wild card because she's been excluded and been played like she's been excluded on stuff. So she's kind of a wild card. But everybody else in that group is kind of like, we've been excluded. These guys are the favorites. Let's get them out. So we might see I'm just going to, you know, a Cliff and Nicole final two just because they stay clean and everybody else is just attacking each other the whole time. I mean, Tommy's being exposed. People have it in the back of their mind what Tommy's doing. So now it's just a matter of getting the opportunity to go after him because he's playing everybody. You know, Nick's been exposed, is kind of playing everybody. So, I mean, there's plenty of targets. So we could literally see two of the people that you'd be like, what are they doing in the finals coming up here?
Whenever Christy, like the thing I hate so much about this season, I feel like tears get you more years in the house because Christy's a crier, and she's done this time and time again, and there's been so much crying in this house. So after she, you know, didn't win the veto, and they're doing the lifeguard thing, and Tommy and Holly played lifeguard, and then she's like, I can't believe it, Tommy, this is BS. If I was her at that moment, here's what I would have done with the veto. I would have went to Mickey or whoever and been like, you know what? Here's food for thought when you decide what you want to do with your veto. If she was like, you know, let's save sis. I'll tell you right now, I used to date Tommy's sister for 4 years. We've known each other for 8. And then just be like, all right, cool. Put you both on the block. Y'all figure it out.
Well, I mean, I think the crying by Christy is on purpose too. I mean, she definitely is crying, but she can manipulate people. You could see it. And people know she does it, and then they all fall for it. So it's like interesting. I think she's playing the best mental game by far. There's no doubt about that. You know, kind of a deal. No, she was going up against Sis because Sis was like, "I'm safe," you know, and you're never safe in that house for any reason.
Pawns go home. We're playing chess, not checkers, right?
Oh my God! If I hear him say that one more time, but I mean, it's just fascinating to watch these people, and especially knowing. Somebody's going to get blindsided one of these times and be like, what? What just happened? Because they're, you know, Cliff, not Holly, Nicole, even you can include Jess in that if you want to. But, you know, those guys, Nick, I mean, they're all just so back and forth, playing each side. And they're at the point now where, like, Holly's going to need Cliff and those guys to vote for her choices or whatever. So now you're in this dynamic where Mickey has drawn the line between everybody and driven that nail in there. And Holly's going to need people to help her out for votes this week for who she wants to go home. And you saw last week, Mickey wanted somebody to go home and it didn't happen because once you draw that thing in there, you got a whole thing that you don't even know about going on the backside that is going to come back and bite you in the butt. So.
Well, once it didn't happen, I thought it was pretty good for their game going forward because now the target is on Christy and Nick. Christy's already said, Nick, you're P1 for me, public enemy number 1. And Nick is pretty much like, I don't effing like you, Christy, so let's go at it. If I'm Nick, I'm taking out Tommy first chance I get, you know, if he stays this week, stays clean and everything. So we'll see. Of course, we got the veto to play this week, see how that does. Also find out the nominations because we still do not know who has been nominated. So the head of household gets 1 nomination, Holly does, and then America voting a prankster. Who would you vote for?
I mean, I agree with you. I'd put somebody, maybe Jess, put up there. The thing that's fascinating is Mickey, where Mickey messed up last week was he put Sis up against the person he wants to go home because he was like, there's no way this house is going to vote against her. So what he doesn't know is that the house would have because of other stuff. You put Jess up there, or like you said, Nicole up there, where people literally won't vote against those people. They don't have a reason to against the nominee. I mean,
well, no, who would you vote to be the prankster and pick the other nominee?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what I mean. If you go with like Jess or whatnot on there, that's what I'm getting at is, I guess I'm not explaining it right. But like, that's my point is you pick somebody that hasn't ever done anything and then you make them put somebody up there because they're going to do one of two things. They're going to put somebody up there to keep the original nominee there or to put somebody up there to make that nominee go home. So, and that's the thing. Mickey can go up there this week, and Mickey's going to go home when he gets up there. It doesn't matter if he's against the devil himself. Mickey's going home. He's not going to be saved. So that's the whole wrinkle in this deal on there. And that's going to be, and quite frankly, if people don't take a shot at Mickey this week and put him up there, whoever the prankster is, they're stupid because they need to get him out of the house because he's a formidable opponent, and they all know it.
I think Mickey stays. I like what Mickey's doing. I think he's playing a heck of a game now. It's chess, not checkers. Rather die on my feet than live on my knees. What other dumb sayings he has. But you know what? It's not as great as my next phrase, which is thanks for listening to the Main Event Podcast. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at the Main Event Pod. Also on Facebook by searching the Main Event Podcast. You can hit me up on Twitter at JasonCarter03. Also on Snapchat and Instagram. Hit up Steve McCullum on all three of those platforms as well at
SMAC 500. SMAC 500.
So do all that. We love interacting with everybody. Thank you for listening. God bless you. God bless the troops. And God bless America.